Thanks for joining us here at Functional Bliss, where Audra and Jessica will guide you through exercises and wellness techniques to help you live your best life every day. It's in the name after all, Functional Bliss. Before you do anything else, click like and subscribe and ring the bell so you'll know whenever we put up a new video. To join our Blissful Gang for live Zoom classes where you can get more direct suggestions and encouragement, go to our website and sign up. Check the class description below for any equipment needs, grab your gear, and let's get started.
All right, so we are going to use a blanket for the beginning of our practice, and then you may find that you want to use it a couple times throughout. But to start, if you can, get your blanket so that you could get most of your back and your butt on it, and then we're going to go lay down on our backs. We'll start with some windshield wipers, and then we're going to roll up the tail end so it's going to tuck under our tailbone and support the ridge of our butt. So once you've got your blanket in a nice little spread, come down onto your back, take your time, and you'll want to adjust the blanket so there's no, funky little wrinkles or anything like that. So get the lumps out. We don't want no princess in the pea situation. So get it smoothed out. And then once you come down onto your mat, onto your blanket, step your feet fairly wide. We'll just start in a constructive rest just to kind of check in. Let your knees drop in towards each other, hands resting wherever feels the most comfortable. And then once you feel like you're there, take a second to just notice your breath. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice slow breath out. Maybe take a moment here just to kind of notice that little subtle variation or change underneath the back of your body. So if you typically just lay straight on your mat, having this little extra softness or this little extra cushion, maybe give your shoulder blades a little wiggle, give your butt a little wiggle, just kind of notice that softness underneath you. And then once you've noticed that softness, kind of tune in and notice the front side of your body. Notice your chest, your belly, the tops of your legs, the tops of your feet. As you give your body a little time to soften and settle in, notice the ceiling above you and the walls around you. Take a nice big breath, and then as you exhale, let your body get a little softer, a little heavier, and then offer up just a little gratitude for the safe space that you have to work in. Before we start to move the body, take 3 cycles of breath, but focus on breathing into the rib cage. So we want to think about the rib cage in a 4-part breath. So think front to back, side to side. Inhale, expand the rib cage. Exhale, the rib cage draws in towards itself. Take 1 more cycle of breath. And then before we move away from this place of stillness, take a moment here to set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice, never doing anything that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. With that intention set, arms are going to be wherever you like the best. So it could be cactus, could be out in an anatomical position, could still stay resting on the belly, or any other position that you like. And then we're going to start to take it in some light windshield wipers. So small range of motion to start. Just start to swish your knees a little bit side to side. Give the muscles, give the tendons, give the ligaments and the joints a considerable amount of time before you go full range of motion. And then as you start to just gently move here, notice your breath. Notice your breath. Is your breath coming in and out through your nose? Is one nostril a little bit more congested than the other? Maybe you start to increase that range of motion, but still focus on breathing in and out through your nose. Maybe find just a little bit more range of motion and focus that inhale coming in through the nose, breathing deep into the rib cage expands, and then breathe out through your nose as the rib cage draws in towards itself. One more big swish of the knees side to side. And then as your knees come back to center, you're going to start to walk your feet in a little closer to each other and then pull the knees in towards the chest. And then once you've got your knees pulled in toward your chest, you're going to see if you can reach down and find the little end of your blanket, which might mean that you need to put your feet down so that you can roll the blanket up just enough so it's going to come right under your tailbone, right under that nice little curve of your bum. And then once you've got that little roll tucked up under the curve of your bum, we're going to float the feet up. Keep a nice generous bend in the knees and then let your arms come out wherever feels the most comfortable. Take a moment to just check in, make sure that little ridge of the blanket feels good underneath your butt. It feels like it's kind of offering just that tiny little bit of support. And then once you feel like that's all feeling good, we're going to start to twirl the feet in circles. Let one foot follow the other, circle in one direction. When you feel ready, take those foot circles and go the other way. Awesome. And now we're going to make like we're trying to clap our feet or make little prayer hands with our feet. So you're going to bring the bottoms of the feet together or just to the best of your ability. That'll look different on everybody, just depending on the variations in your ankle joint. And then release your feet and then bring them back together. Like you're trying to clap your feet and then release, bring the feet together and release. And then now take it into a nice big point and flex. So we're going to put a little bit of intention on that one. Pull the toes in towards the body. Maybe you'll feel your calf muscles get and your Achilles tendon, and then point the toes away, but see if you can feel a little muscle action in the front of the shins. Beautiful. One more little point and flex of the feet, and then feet are going to find a neutral position, but we're going to spread the toes. So you're going to look up at your toes, spread your toes as wide as you can, and then release. Spread your toes as wide as you can and release. Spread your toes as wide as you can. Hold that spread of the toes. And now we're going to go Barbie foot. So we're going to keep a little bit of a spread of the toes, push the ball of the foot forward, and then come back to a little bit of a flex or a slightly neutral foot. Nice. And then keep the flex in or keep the spread in your toes, keep that strong intention in your feet. And now Barbie foot, but draw your toes in circles. One foot follows the other. Keep the spread of the toes, keep that little Barbie foot, and then circle your feet the other way. Nice. One more circle around and then let everything come to stillness. Soften your feet, relax your ankles, relax your shins and your calves. We're going to just give the right leg a gentle shake. So left leg is going to stay stable, right leg is going to shake. One more cycle of breath with the right leg. And then right leg is going to come to stillness. Left leg is going to get a gentle shake. One more cycle of breath with that left leg, and then let both legs come to stillness. We're going to float the legs down just a little bit. So we're going to get that 90-degree bend with the legs. And now we're going to take our fists. We're going to take two fists, hug them together, and we're going to place those two fists right between the knees or just that muscle that runs right about where the knees and the inner thighs meet. So place your two fists there, and we're just going to keep that as a connection point. So we're not going to try to jam the knees into the fists, but keep just that spacing and that touch connection. Flex your feet just a little bit. And now we're going to start to alternate. One foot's going to swing out and then the other. So now here you may feel the muscles in the side of your thigh or in the side of your glutes kick on as you find this work. You're just going to swing one foot out, keep that 90-degree bend best you can. Take one more time each side. And then once you've completed your last one, release your fist, pull your knees into your chest, give a light little squeeze, and then take those knees and draw them in circles. Circle in one direction. Take your knees, draw them in circles, go the other way. Awesome. And then take a second to just set your feet down, lift your tush up just a little bit so you can release that little roll of the blanket, smooth that bottom part of the blanket out, and then come back up with the knees, grab the backs of the thighs, and we're going to start a little bit of a rock and roll. Rocking towards the crown of the head, towards the tailbone. Take your time, take a few good rocks and rolls, and then once you feel like you've massaged your back or found some good energy through the back of the body, catch a little momentum, come all the way up to a seated position, and then scoot your butt back just enough so that you're sitting on your blanket, and then come into your Sukhasana. So crisscross your legs. Once you found your way there, move right into a seated twist. Left hand's going to find the right knee, right hand behind you. Take one more breath. Release your twist and take it over to the other side. Take one more breath. Release your twist, come to center. Right hand's going to touch down, left hand's going to reach up. Take a quick side bend, just leaning over. Right as you find your edge, lift up and over, take it over to the other side. Hand touches down, arm reaches up. Find your edge, and then once you found your edge, lift right back up, and we're going to move right back into that twist to the right. So left hand's going to find the right knee, right hand behind you. Get nice and tall here. Now we're going to see if we can take the back hand and reach it just a little bit further behind. See if you can find your left hip crease. Draw that shoulder down and back. Look over your back shoulder just as far as you can. Take a nice big breath. Release your back hand, slowly unwind, and we're going to take it to the other side. Find your twist over in the other direction. Think about getting nice and tall. And then take that back hand, slide it around, see if you can find your hip crease or just as close as feels right. And then once you've found a grip that feels good, drop that left shoulder down, turn your head as far as you can. Nice. And then when you're ready, release your hand, release your head, come back to center. We're going to lean back into the sit bones just a little bit, bring the soles of the feet together. So into our little cobbler's pose, but maybe a loose position so that your legs feel kind of soft in this cobbler's pose. And then lift the heart up, hinge from your waist, lean forward just a little bit so your hands can find the ground. And we've got that little hip hinge, just a slight forward lean. Once you've found that slight forward lean, walk over to the left just a little bit, take a nice big breath. Come through center and then walk over to the right just a little bit. Come back through center, press into the palms, draw the ribs back, drag your fingers as you come up, and then we're going to lift the fingertips up to the forehead. We're going to place our four fingers right to the center of the forehead. Press in gently, drag out to the temples. Once you hit the temples, lift up, come back to center. Press in gently, drag the fingers out. Once you hit the temples, lift up and come back to center. Press in gently, drag the fingers out, and then release your hands and give them a nice little gentle shake. From here, we're going to flip around into our tabletop position. So spin yourself around, but if you want to kick your blanket up and out of the way, if you don't like to use it for your tabletop prop, just move it off and out to the side. You might choose to come back to it later, as we will be going to our pigeon pose today. So find your tabletop position. And then once you found your tabletop position, move right into a cat and cow. Inhale as you drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, round your back. Inhale to drop your belly. Exhale to round your back. One more time, just like that. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale to round your back and then find a neutral spine, and we're going to move into a pelvic tilt. So the upper body is going to stay stable, and we're just going to curl the tailbone under a little bit and then release back to that natural curve of your back. One more tilt of the pelvis here, and then we're going to move back to cat and cow, but try to keep your shoulders as stable as you can. So think about drawing the shoulders down and back, brace your shoulders, and then try to find a cat and cow without letting your shoulders move, which is probably going to decrease your range of motion considerably. You almost might feel like you're not getting anywhere at all. So we want to try to move the spine without letting the shoulders move. Take one more time through. And then when you're ready, we're going to go into a little thread the needle. So take your right hand, reach it up nice and high. Right hand's going to thread through and underneath, right your right shoulder to the ground. Take 3 cycles of breath. When you're ready, come up nice and slow. Plant your hand down, lift the left arm up, create a little space, and then thread that hand through and underneath. Left ear, left shoulder to the ground, 3 cycles of breath. Beautiful. When you're ready, slowly and mindfully bring yourself back up to your tabletop position. Once you've got your tabletop position, curl both sets of toes under and take a few dynamic rocks forward and back. Just bringing a little stretch to the toes and the bottoms of the feet. Notice how your feet feel. One more big stretch forward and back. And then as you come back up to tabletop, release your toes. We're going to take the right leg, pick it up like you're doing your fire hydrant, swing it out to the side, and then big circle around. So find as much range of motion as you can, but go as slow as you can. So you really hug it in, find the edge of your movement, take your time with it. Notice how your hip feels. Notice how your thighs feel. Beautiful. One more big circle around. And then when you feel ready, set that foot down and we're going to switch right to the other side. So right knee down, left leg's going to lift up and out to the side, find your fire hydrant, and then find those big, generous circles. Slow it down so that you can take the time to find your edge of your range of motion. Nice. Take one more big circle around, and then when you're ready, set that knee down, big toes together, knees to the outer edges of your mat. Pull your butt back towards your heels, come back to extended child's pose, soften your belly, soften your heart, soften your arms, and take 3 nice big breaths here. Before we release our extended child's pose, if you like, walk your hands just a little closer to each other. And then we're going to go 3 times prayer hands behind the head. So we're going to bring the prayer hands together. Thumbs or backs, edges of your wrists are going to touch the back of your head, and then release your hands back down. Bring the thumbs back, touch the back of the head, and then release it back down. Do that one more time. Thumbs to the back of the head. Release it down, walk your hands just a little bit wider away from each other, lift your butt up away from your heels, curl your toes under and exhale up to a downward facing dog. Find a loose down dog here. So maybe you rearrange your feet, bend your knees a lot, let your belly and your thighs get nice and close to each other, see how that feels. And then with the belly a little closer to the thighs, pedal out your legs here. Beautiful. Take one more pedal of each leg, and then we're going to pick up the heels, lower the knees, float into your tabletop position, but right leg is going to kick up like you're coming into your tiger's pose. So we're going to push the heel up towards the ceiling, lift your heart, lift your gaze, keep that lifted heart, keep that lifted foot, bend your elbows, heart comes forward. Press your way back up with control, float that foot down. We're going to switch to the other side. Left leg is going to lift up into that tiger's pose. So flex your foot, Lift your heel, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Keep that nice engagement through the back of the body. Bend your elbows, heart comes forward. Beautiful. Push your way back up nice and strong. Float that foot down back to the right side. Tiger's pose with the leg. Flex the foot. Kick the heel up. Lift your chest. Bend your elbows. Heart comes forward. Awesome. Push your way back up. Float that foot down. Switch to the other side. Left leg comes up. Flex the foot. Lift the heel. Lift your heart. Lift your gaze. Bend your elbows. Heart comes forward. Lift back up. Float that foot down one more time each side. Lift the right leg up. Flex the foot. Push the heel up, lift your heart, lift your gaze, bend your elbows, heart comes forward. Nice, lift yourself back up, float that foot down, switch to the other side, left leg up, flex your foot, lift your heel, lift your heart, lift your gaze, bend your elbows, heart comes forward. Come back up nice and slow and controlled, knees in line with the hips, walk it out to puppy pose. Walk your hands forward, let your heart melt down, let your forehead sink down, take 3 nice deep breaths. When you feel ready, slowly and mindfully walk yourself back up to your tabletop position, curl your toes under, exhale up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a soft ragdoll fold at the top of the mat. Feet about hip or shoulder distance apart, super generous bend in the knees. And then we're gonna kind of shake out the shoulders and shake out the arms. So you're gonna let your arms kind of hang nice and loose. And then think about that little bounce and shake that we often do in standing, but see if you can just find that little bit of bounce and shake coming through most of the upper body. So shimmy your shoulders, let your head shake a little bit if that feels good. Notice your breath. One more little shake and shimmy the arms and the shoulders and let it all come to stillness. Let your arms hang nice and heavy, soften the back of your neck. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, take your time as you roll your way up to standing. And then as you come up to standing, just give your body a second, arrange your clothes, get yourself settled. And then once you found your way up, we're gonna come into a bounce from here. So we're gonna pop the heels, get a little bounce going. Once you've got that bounce going, we're gonna add a little hum. So we're gonna bounce and hum. Hum comes mostly on the exhale, so you'll take your inhalation. And then as you exhale, take your inhalation, exhale and hum. One more time through. And then once you've completed that last exhalation, let everything come to stillness. Let your knees be slightly soft. Let your arms be soft and heavy. Just notice your body for a moment. Notice your breath. Beautiful. And then see if you can find just a little bit of intention here. Come into your stronger mountain pose. So with a little bit of intention down in the feet, toes and knees pointing fairly forward, lift your toes, spread your toes as wide as you can, and then soften your toes down to the ground, but keep as much of a spread of your toes as you can find. Draw energy up from the soles of the feet, a little bit of upward lifting energy up the legs, up the front of the body, up through the crown of your head. Soften your shoulders down, and then bring a little energy down into the fingertips. When you feel ready, inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to standing, take your time. Roll your shoulders up to your ears, around, down, and back. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, bend your knees a lot, lift the soles of your feet, pull the abdominal muscles in, roll up, roll your shoulders up to your ears, around, down, and back. One more time through like that. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, soften down, bend your knees a lot, lift from the soles of the feet, pull the abdominal muscles in, roll your way up, roll your shoulders around, down, and back, find your mountain pose, feel your feet connected to the floor. Beautiful. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Knees bent or straight, whatever feels better in your body. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step the right leg back, warrior two. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out. Right hand is going to pick you up. Nice. And now we're going to take it into a side angle. So we're going to take that left elbow down to the knee. Think about creating a little space here. So we want to think about lifting those ribs away from the thigh. So we're going to take that upper hand and thread through. So your ribs and your gaze are going to rotate. You're going to reach that hand through that little hole, reach as far as you can, and then pull it back up, slow it down, lift the arm, look up towards the sky. When you're ready, take that hand, thread it through, nice and slow, reach through, keep your legs nice and strong and solid. When you feel ready, pull that arm up, take your time, lift your arm, lift your gaze. One more time, just like that. Thread the hand through, keep your legs nice and solid. Lift that arm up. Lovely. And then we're going to float up to our warrior two. So strong legs, strong side body, lift up to warrior two, gaze forward, take a breath. And now we're going to spin the hands down. So cartwheel your hands down, pivot your back heel so you find your runner's lunge. Plant your palms, step back to plank. Bring the knees down, rotate the eyes of your elbows, lower with control onto your belly. Inhale up to a low cobra. Exhale to lower down. Push your way up to a table, curl your toes under. Exhale up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a soft fold at the top of your mat. Bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, lift from the soles of your feet, roll up to standing, take your time, roll your shoulders down and back. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, warrior two. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, left hand picks you up. Take that right elbow to the knee, keep those ribs lifting away. Left hand reaches up to the sky. And then thread that hand through. So we're going to thread the left hand through, your ribs rotate, your head rotates, you look through, and then pull that hand up. Keep your legs nice and solid, take your time. Thread that hand through, let your ribs rotate a little bit, maybe your head turns. Lift that hand up, take your time, legs nice and strong. Lovely, one more time just like that. Thread the hand through. Lift the arm, lift your gaze. Nice and strong, lift up through your warrior two. Circle your hands around to the ground, pivot that back heel so you find your runner's lunge. Plant your palms, step back to plank. Bring the knees down, rotate the eyes of your elbows, lower with control. Inhale up to a low cobra. Exhale to lower down. Push your way up to a tabletop position, curl the toes under, exhale up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, bend your knees a lot, lift from the soles of the feet, pull the abdominal muscles in, roll up nice and slow, roll your shoulders around, down and back. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step the right leg back, warrior two. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, right hand picks you up. Into our side angle, so that left elbow is going to come down to the knee. One time with that thread the needle, so we're going to take that right hand, thread it through, let your ribs rotate, let your head turn, lift it back up. And now we're going to circle that top hand. So we're going to make big, giant circles around, circle in one direction 3 times. And then when you're ready, 3 giant circles go the other way. Nice. And then lift that hand up. We're going to slide that hand behind. So we're going to go into that little half bind. So you're going to slide that hand behind you. See if you can find that left hip crease. Draw the shoulder down and back. Take a breath. Awesome. And then release that arm up to the sky. Strong legs, strong side body. Lift up into your warrior two. Gaze forward. Take a breath. Circle your hands around to the ground. Find your runner's lunge. Plant your palms. Step back to plank. Bring the knees down or lower in chaturanga, whatever your shoulders like best. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale up to down dog or through a table to down dog. We're going to do 3 humming exhales in our down dog. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale and let out a nice low hum. Inhale, a nice big breath. Exhale and hum. One more cycle of breath. Once you've completed that last humming exhale, bend your knees, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands. Bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, lift from the soles of your feet, roll on up, roll your shoulders up to your ears, around, down, and back. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, warrior 2, drop the back heel, turn the toes out, left hand picks you up. Right elbow to the knee. Keep those ribs lifting away. Left arm reaches up. One time, thread the hand through. So we're going to thread the hand through that little space. Reach, let the ribs rotate. Maybe turn your head. Lift up. And then 3 big arm circles, circle in one direction. And then when you're ready, reverse directions and go the other way. Arm reaches up to the sky to create some space, and then we're going to slip that hand behind the back, find that right hip crease, draw that left shoulder down and back, take a breath. Release that hand, float up to your warrior 2. Circle your hands down to the ground, find your runner's lunge. Plant your palms, step back to plank. Bring your knees down or go through chaturanga, whatever you feel strongest in your shoulders. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale up to down dog or through your table to down dog. 3 humming exhales here. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale and hum. 2 more cycles of breath, finding your humming exhale. And then when you're ready, bend your knees, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold. Bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll your way up nice and slow and controlled. Roll your shoulders around, down, and back. We're coming back to our bounce and our hum. So we're going to bounce, inhale through the nose, exhale, let out your hum. So bouncing can be really good for the lymphatic system, for the density of our bones, and for our central nervous system. And then humming is really good for toning the vagus nerve. So this is like a 2-for-1 special. If you add that bounce and that hum, take one more moment. And then when you're ready, let it all come to stillness. Lift your toes, spread your toes as wide as you can. Soften your toes down, lift the soles of your feet, draw that energy upward through the crown of your head. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step the right leg back, warrior 2. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, right hand picks you up. Beautiful, take it to that side angle. Left elbow to the knee, right hand reaches up, draw that top shoulder back just a little bit, turn your head, look up towards the sky. One time we thread the hand through, so we're going to reach that hand through that space, let your ribs rotate, let your head turn. Lift it back up. We're going to do 1 circle in each direction. So circle your arm, 1 big circle one way. Circle your arm, 1 big circle the other way. Create that space and then find that little half bind. Tuck the hand behind the back. Find that little hip crease. Lift your ribs just a little further away from the thigh. Take a breath. Now we're going to keep our hand in that little half bind. So you're going to keep the right hand behind, but lift that left elbow away and move it up into your peaceful warrior. So keep that hand tucked behind. Left hand reaches up and we look to the sky if that feels good. When you're ready, we release. We're going to release the arms, cartwheel your hands down to the ground. Find your runner's lunge. Plant your palms, step back to plank. Lower your knees or lower in chaturanga, totally up to you. Inhaling up to cobra. Exhale up to down dog or through table to down dog. Right leg up into three-legged dog. Bend your knee, let the hip roll open, take one big breath. Step that foot through to the top of your mat. Find a runner's lunge on this side. Left hand is going to stay on the ground. Right hand's going to reach up for a twist. Beautiful. Release that hand down. We're going to step the left foot up to meet. So step up to your forward fold. Lift from the soles of your feet. Pull the abdominal muscles in. Bend your knees. Roll up to standing. Roll your shoulders around, down, and back. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, warrior two. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, left hand picks you up. Right elbow to the knee, ribs lift away from the thigh. Left hand reaches up, turn your head, look up towards the ceiling. Thread that hand through. So create that space, thread the hand through, ribs rotate, head turns. Lift the hand back up to the sky, one circle in each direction. Big circle of the arm one way, a big circle of the arm the other way. And then find that half bind. Slide that hand behind you. See if you can find that right hip crease. Draw the shoulder down and back. Keeping that left hand in the bind, we're going to lift the ribs away from the torso. Float that right hand up into your peaceful warrior. Beautiful. Release both arms. Spin your hands around and down. Pivot your back heel so you come through your runner's lunge. Plant your palms. Step back to plank. Bring your knees down or lower in chaturanga. Totally up to you. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale up to down dog. Left leg up into three-legged dog. Bend the knee. Let the hip roll open. Step the left foot up to the top of your mat into runner's lunge. Right hand's going to stay on the ground. Left hand's going to reach for a twist. Left hand down to the ground. Step the right foot up to meet to a nice soft fold at the top of your mat. Bend your knees a lot. Lift from the soles of your feet. Pull the abdominal muscles in. Roll up to standing. Roll your shoulders down and back. We're going to take a quick balance before we finish our flow practice. So just transfer your weight onto your left foot. Pick your right knee up, but keep the toe on the ground for just a second. Notice where your balance is at. With one breath, you're going to lift the knee up, grab the knee, pull it up to the chest. Release it nice and slow and controlled. Transfer your weight onto your other foot. Pick the knee up, big toe stays on the ground. With one breath, pick the knee up, grab the knee, lift it as close to your chest as feels good. Release it nice and slow and controlled. Find your mountain pose. Spread your toes, lift from the soles of your feet, lift up through the top of your head. Inhale, arms up, hands meet, chest lifts as you look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, right leg back, warrior two. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, right hand picks you up. Side angle, left elbow to the knee, right hand reaches up. One thread through with that arm, thread it through, let the ribs rotate, look and reach. Pull that hand up, one big circle in one direction. One big circle the other way. Into that half bind, slide that hand behind your back, find that left hip crease, draw that right shoulder down and back, turn your head, look up towards the ceiling. Bring your head back to a neutral position. Keep that right hand behind you, lift up into your peaceful warrior. So float that left elbow up, find that little side bend and reach. And then when you're ready, release, spin your hands around and down, find your runner's lunge, plant your palms, step back to plank, lower the knees or lower in chaturanga. Inhale up to cobra, exhale up to down dog. Right leg is going to come up nice and high, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, let the hip roll open. Take one good breath. And now we're going to take this right leg into our pigeon pose. So we're going to drop the right leg across the mat. Take your time as you settle into that shape. And then if you have one hip that always stays a little higher than the other, here's a place where you might like to just kind of tuck your blanket under your butt so that it feels nice and supported. Once you've got your legs arranged in a way that makes sense, start by just coming down elbows and forearms. If you can, soften through your shoulders. Soften through your low back. Take 3 nice deep breaths here and see how this feels. Now, for some of us, it might feel better to stay in that more straightforward position. So you might choose to stay here or just go a little bit further into your sleeping pigeon. But for some of us, it might get us a little deeper into our hips if we thread the needle here. So you're going to create a little bit of space, thread your left hand through and underneath. So we're going to thread towards that right knee, left ear, left shoulder, going to come down towards the ground. Take 2 more cycles of breath. When you feel ready, we're going to slowly bring ourselves out of that twisted position. So start by propping yourself up, unlace that arm, walk your hands a little bit closer to your shins so you find that more upright spine. Curl the back toes under. We're going to kick that front leg back into three-legged dog. So lift that back knee, slide that right leg back, come up into your three-legged dog, and then step that foot forward into your runner's lunge. Left hand's going to stay on the ground. Right hand's going to reach up for a little twist. Take 1 breath. Float that right hand down, step your left foot up to meet, find your forward fold. Bend your knees a lot, lift from the soles of your feet, pull the abdominal muscles in, roll up to standing. Roll your shoulders around, down and back. Inhale, arms up, hands meet, chest lifts as you look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, warrior 2. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, left hand picks you up. Into our side angle, right elbow finds the knee, ribs lift away, left hand reaches up. Draw that shoulder back, turn your head, look up to the sky. 1 time, thread the hand through, rotate the ribs, turn your head. Lift that arm up and away, 1 circle in one direction. 1 big circle of the arm the other direction. Into our half bind, slide that hand behind you, find that hip crease, draw the shoulder back, turn your head. Bring your head back to a neutral position, lift up into your peaceful warrior, lift the ribs away from the thigh, right hand reaches up, strong legs here. Beautiful, and then when you're ready, release, spin your hands down to the ground, find your runner's lunge. Plant your palms, step back to plank. Lower the knees or lower in chaturanga, totally up to you. Inhaling up to cobra. Exhale up to down dog. Left leg up nice and high, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, let the hip roll open. Take 1 big breath. And then we're going to bring that leg into our pigeon. So we're going to drop that left leg across the mat. Take the time to settle your hips, take the time to make your knee feel comfortable. And then once you feel like you've got the bottom half arranged well, come down to elbows and forearms and take 3 nice big breaths here. Same thing on this side. Some of us might feel better to stay with that more straightforward spine, but if it feels good and you want to explore, you always have the option to come out if this side doesn't feel the same. So lift up, create a little space, thread your right hand through, right ear, right shoulder towards. Unwind, walk your hands a little bit closer to your shins. So you find that more upright spine. Take a breath. Curl the back toes under, lift your back knee up. We're going to kick that left leg up into three-legged dog. So send that leg up nice and high. And then we're going to step that foot through to the top of our mat into our runner's lunge. Right hand is going to stay on the ground. Left hand's going to reach for a twist. Left hand touches down, step the right foot up to meet, come to a soft fold at the top of your mat. From here, we're going to roll down into our little ball of yarn. So bend your knees, pick up your heels, tuck your way down, tuck your chin to your chest. Make a nice little tight squeeze here so that you can feel the shoulder blades and feel the back of your body, and see if you can notice the breath in the back of your rib cage. Lovely. When you're ready, slowly release your butt down onto the ground, coming into our cobbler's pose, soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and to the right. And now this time, maybe you rearrange your diamond shape so it's just a little bit more of a sensation. And then once you feel like you're there, find this nice tall lifted spine. We're going to hinge forward, find that halfway point. Hands are going to find the ground. Walk it over to the left, maybe just a little further than when you started. Come through center, walk it over to the right, maybe go just a little bit further than when you started. Come back through center. We're going to press firmly into the hands. So we're going to pull the ribs back, drag your fingers. As you come all the way up, hands are going to find the outsides of the thighs. Help your legs come together, curl your tailbone under, and then slowly roll your way down to the ground. Once you've come all the way down to the ground, we're going to lift legs right up to the sky and come into a wide leg position. So float your legs up and then take them out and away from each other just as far as they go naturally, and then pause there, take a breath. Cool. Now we're going to place our hands on the inner thighs, but we're not going to try to push our legs down. We're just going to let the weight of our hands rest on the thighs. Notice your inner thighs. Take a breath. Wonderful. Now we're going to create a little resistance. So we're going to let our hands be strong and try to push your inner thighs into your hands like you're trying to bring your legs back together. Hands are going to create a little resistance, and hold that resistance for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release your hands. We're going to bring the legs a little bit closer together just so that the hands can find the outsides of the thighs. And now the hands are going to create a resistance, and you're going to try to push your thighs down, or push your inner thighs away from each other. So hands create that resistance, push your thighs out, hold that resistance for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that resistance, and we're going to crisscross the legs like you're crossing your legs in a chair. So get your knees stacked, shins away from each other, reach up, re-grab your shins to the tops of your feet, draw the knees in towards your chest, and then release them away. And now we're going to add a head turn. As you pull the knees into your chest, turn your head to the right. Release, head comes back to neutral. Pull the knees into your chest, turn your head to the left. Release, head comes back to neutral. One more time, head stays in neutral. Pull the knees into the chest. Release your hand hold. Recross your legs the other way. So left leg is going to cross over the right. Regrab your shins to the tops of the feet. Pull the knees into your chest and release away. Now add that head turn. As you pull the knees into your chest, turn your head to the left. Release, head comes back to neutral. Pull the knees into your chest, turn your head to the right. Release, come back to neutral. Head stays center, pull the knees into the chest. Release your hand hold, unwind your legs, pull the right knee into your chest, left leg is going to go nice and long, and now we're going to move right into a supine twist from here. Take that right knee over and across the body, right arm opens out nice and wide. Drop your right shoulder down, turn your head to the right, take 3 nice big breaths. Keep your supine twist as it is, but the right hand is now just going to extend up alongside your ear. So you're just going to reach that hand up alongside your ear, make some space so that your shoulder feels like it's navigated its way in a nice way, and then take another big breath. Awesome. And then we're going to pull the right knee into the chest. Left knee is going to come into meet, both knees into the chest. Take those knees, draw them in circles, go in one direction. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Beautiful. Now we're going to hold on to the left knee. Right leg is going to go nice and long, prepping for that supine twist to the other side. Once you feel ready, take that left knee over to the right. Left arm opens wide, head turns to the left. Keep your supine twist, but the left arm is just going to stretch up alongside the ear and then navigate that shoulder so it lands comfortably and then soften again. Come back to your breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, pull the left knee into your chest, bring the right knee into meet. Now we're going to take the knees nice and wide towards the shoulder. So that little bit of a wide, like you're prepping for your happy baby. Take a little bit of a rock side to side. Now you might choose to stay with this. This might be where your happy baby is at today, but if it feels good and you want just that little extra something, you might float your feet up, grab your big toes or the blade edges of your feet or whatever other handhold you like best. Knees are wide, shoulders soft and heavy, tailbone soft and heavy. Take a breath. And then we're like we're taking a side lunge in the air. So we're going to stretch the right leg out to the side, keep your left knee bent. Bring that leg back in, switch over to the other side. Right knee is going to stay bent, left leg is going to stretch out to the side. Bring it back in. And now we're going to go both legs nice and wide. So bring your both legs out just as wide as feels good. Bend those knees, bring it back to your happy baby, and then take some big, generous rocks side to side. You can even rock all the way over to your side, bring the legs with you. Any big, grand movement here that feels really nice to your body. Nice. One more big rock around side to side. And then when you're ready, we're going to float the feet down, setting up for windshield wipers. So float your feet down, but take them out as wide as you like them to be. And then find your windshield wipers, dropping the knees side to side. Big range of motion here if you can find it. The next time your knees drop over to the right, we're going to let them sink all the way down and then see how it feels to stack the right leg on top of the left. It'll bring a little bit more sensation through that left front pocket area, but you want to make sure that your hip feels safe and that your knee feels comfortable. So only go there if that feels like a safe place to go. Wonderful. If that foot was stacked on top, take a second to release it. Float your knees over to the other side, let them sink all the way down, and then see how it feels to stack the left leg on top of the right. Let the knee sink down. Check in with your knee, check in with your hips, make sure that feels like a safe place to be. Nice. And then when you're ready, unstack your foot if it's stacked, float your legs back to center. Knees are going to drop in towards each other. So legs are just going to land in constructive rest for a minute. Arms are going to float up into cactus or goalpost arms. We're going to try to keep the backs of the hands connected to the floor. And we're just going to slide the hands up like we're taking that big good morning stretch and then pull the arms back down so elbows come back in line with the shoulders. Slide your hands up. Pull the elbows back down. Slide your hands up. Pull the elbows back down, elbows in line with the shoulders. And now we're going to go with our scarecrow arm. So we're going to float the fingers up like you're starting to point your fingers up towards the ceiling and then reach them forward like you're trying to reach them down towards the ground. My shoulders tend to round. I can touch my fingers, but my shoulder heads definitely round up. So you go with as much range of motion as you feel comfortable with. Listen into your shoulders, make sure they feel happy about the work that you're doing or the depth of work that you're doing. Take one more time with those scarecrow arms. And then the next time your fingertips point up like they're coming up towards the ceiling, lift your elbows away from the ground and come into your I Dream of Jeannie arms or that square across the chest. Once you've caught hold of your elbows, start by just pulling the elbows a little bit side to side. And now we're going to take those elbows and draw them in a little figure 8 maneuver. So you're going to feel your back connected to the ground. You may feel points where your ribs want to kind of lift and roll, but just let your body just move here in the way that feels the nicest with the least amount of effort, a little bit of softness. See if you can soften your jaw. One more little figure 8 each way. And then float your hands down alongside your hips, toe heel your feet in so they're about hip width distance apart. We're just going to take one hip bridge here. So arrange your heels so they're close to the butt, feet about hip width distance apart. Anchor your shoulders down. On an exhale, lift up into your hip bridge just as high as you like. Feel a little bit of muscular strength in your butt and then in the backs of your legs. Take one more cycle of breath. And then roll down through the spine. So think upper back, middle back, low back, hips touch down, and then start to find your way to your Shavasana. You might choose to come back to constructive rest. That can be really nice for the low back and the hip flexors, or any other shape of the body that feels good. And then since you have your blanket handy, it might feel good to tuck it under your knees to keep a little bit of a bent knee position, or maybe use it like a blanket, or maybe put it under your head. So any little variation since you've got your blanket handy, take the time to get nice and comfortable in your Shavasana. You always have the option to stay in your Shavasana just as long as you like. But if you feel ready to do so, start to gently reawaken. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, move your head gently side to side. As you start to move a little bit, allow your breath to deepen a little bit, and then see how it feels to take it into a big good morning stretch. Stretch your arms up and overhead, reach your legs nice and long, create a little length and space in your body. Take a nice big breath. And then when you feel ready, slowly start to find your way up to a seated position. So it could be Sukhasana if you like to sit in Sukhasana, but any other seated position, we do want a little access to our fingertips to our forehead. So whatever gets you to a place where you can place your fingertips onto your forehead. And then once you've found your way up to your comfortable seated position, take a second, work out all those little wiggles, sit up nice and tall. And then we're going to go fingertips to that space right at the center of the forehead. So we're going to push gently in. So you're just pushing into the forehead to trap the skin and connective tissue. And then we're just going to lift the eyebrows up and down a few times. And then let the eyebrows come to stillness. And we're going to slide the hands away. So think about a centimeter between the fingertips. So slide them out just a little bit, push in, and then come back to those lift and lowers of your eyebrows. Release your eyebrows, slide your fingers out another centimeter, press in, lift and lower your eyebrows. Nice. And then slide your fingers out just one last time. Press in, lift and lower your eyebrows. Nice. And now we're going to release our hands, fingertips or index finger and middle finger are going to find the temples. Gently draw little circles around the temples. And then walk those circles down, maybe finding the cheekbone and where the cheekbone and the ear meet. And then maybe take those fingertips down to where the jaw meets the ear. And then maybe take those circles all the way down your jawline, down to your chin. And then once you've found your chin, draw some smushy little circles and then bring your prayer hands together at heart center and Anjali Mudra and bow your head to your heart. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for all of your hard work. And breathe in a whole bunch of extra love and gratitude that you can carry with you through the rest of your day and share with everyone you see. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Tuesday.